Hello, everyone. This is Madeline Zell with the Chapter Goddess, and today I have with me Katharine Wibell, and she's going to be telling us about herself and her amazing books. So, Katharine, why don't you give us a little bit of history about yourself for us?
Okay, well, I have been writing I've been an author since 2016. I've been writing for many years prior because I personally consider being an author anytime after you publish your first book. But I've been writing for as long as I can remember, different ways. But I write high fantasy. I have several series out right now, 2 current ones that are being released to you guys today. And I hope you enjoy them. I guess, do you want me to talk a little bit about the series in particular or just a little bit more of my background?
Go ahead and tell us about your books you're dropping.
Okay, so currently I have 2 series. One is a young adult adventure fantasy, and the first book of that series is the 12 Tasks. The series as a whole is called the Jed Chronicles. And this series is based in a multiverse where there are 12 magical planets, and all the entities that you can imagine that utilize magic exist on those 12 planets. And since the dawn of time, there are 2 opposing forces that combat each other. And during their most volatile points, the universe itself and the balance that affects all life is threatened. During those moments, a prophesized hero, or in this case, a hero.
Technology, I'm not the best with it. It's like,
I understand. You never know when it's going to drop or whatever. Yeah. But okay, well, going from the top. Currently, I have 2 book series out at the moment. One is the Jed Chronicles, and the first book that's out right now is the 12 Tasks. This is an adventure fantasy for young adults, and it is set in a multiverse where there are 12 magical planets, and all the entities that utilize magic exist on those worlds. Now, since the beginning of time, there have been polar forces at work kind of combating each other. And when they are at the most volatile peaks, a hero arises to prevent calamity. And the hero is known as the Jed. And so my book series starts off where my character at the age of 13 awakes on a planet that's not Earth. Earth is not one of the magic ones, so she is unaware of everything else that goes on in the cosmos. And she is quickly told that she might be this next Jed. So what we do now is go to each of the 12 planets and complete a task that one of the items of the previous, and she has proven the Jed. The problem means that there's upcoming war coming and all the problems that go along with it. So I really like the series. It was really fun to create. It's full of all sorts of mythological references. So if you like fairy, dragons, witches, and wizards, I got it all. It is a lot of fun to read and enjoy. My other series that I have out currently is the Guardian Speaker. And this is actually an adult dark fantasy, and it's themed from the Viking mythology, so Nordic myth. So it's set with Yggdrasil and the 9 realms, and you get to experience Norse mythology to the fullest. Now, this one kind of focuses on a character named Leaf, and she was born with an ability where she can see and commune with every person's Fulgia. Fulgia are guardian spirits. So instead of guardian angels, Nordic people during the Viking era believed you had a guardian animal spirit. So she gets to commune with hers. Hers is a little squirrel named Leaf, but each guardian animal takes or kind of form personifies the person's core personality characteristics. Wolf means you're a great warrior. Bears mean you have, I think, lineage to royalty. But because she's the only person who has this ability, she has been ostracized since birth. People shun her because they see her as someone crazy who talks to herself. So at the beginning of this book series, she bumps into another character who has a similar ability. The problem is he comes with a warning saying all humanity is about to potentially collapse. there's a plague going to hit them and only he can stop it. The problem is he arrives as a slave and he's not hers to free. So those are my 2 series that I have currently in the works right now.
Those sound amazing. So the Guardian speaker, that's one you just mentioned, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Did you have to do research for that one?
Tremendous research. I have spent hundreds, maybe even broaching over thousands of hours of research because I wanted to keep a lot of historical truth to the way people lived during that era of the Vikings. And so I have history books and I've been watching documentaries and have all these notebooks on just little details and verbiage that was used during that time. And I also have a couple shelves dedicated on just the Icelandic sagas and the Poetic Edda and other epics from that time, and encyclopedias on mythology that focus on just Nordic myth, because I wanted to pull as much I can out of the source material and intersperse it in my book series.
Wow, that is impressive. Like, I have both of the covers pulled up and I'll show them to you guys at the end of our interview with the video, and they look amazing. Did you create the covers? Because I know you're also an artist, or did you have somebody do them?
Thank you. I prefer to focus on pet portraiture and other for that style. So no, I create my own covers, and both those covers were designed by 2 different people, and I love them both dearly, and I'll continue to use them for the future. But no, I have not tackled the concept of creating my own cover.
It is
a skill in among
difficult.
itself.
Yes, it is a skill. Where do you get your inspiration for your story ideas?
Well, I mean, they all come, each series that I have, and I have 3 currently. One was my initial debut series, but they all came from different sources. The 12 Tasks, it's an interesting backstory because it came about through the imaginary play my sister and I did throughout childhood. We created our alter egos. That's why the main character is named Katie. And we developed all these worlds and villains and backstories. And so over the years, it became this vibrant multiverse that I wanted to share with the world. And I guess you could say because of that, I always knew I would be a writer. I didn't know how or when, but I knew I would. So after doing my debut series, I felt a little more confident to tackle this series, the Jed Chronicles, and finally have been able to now start releasing the books, and hopefully, crossing fingers, the 2nd book will be released at the end of this year.
That is awesome. I love that you got that from your childhood and you're sharing that with us. That is amazing. It's almost like we get to see inside your head as you grew up.
Well, I have updated, I had to update, names, because the way a child names something may be a little different than a person, and update a few things since then. But the core premise kind of, again, all stemmed from those characters developed when I was, 7 to 13 to whatever. But the other series, it was just happenstantial. I was reading through, because again, I love mythology. So I was reading one of the texts that I actually already had about Nordic myth, and learned about the obscure entity, the Fulgir, which is again, those animal spirits. And I thought they were just so fascinating that I was like, why haven't I read anything about it? And then all of a sudden I realized, I'm a writer. I can write that. Let me be the one to show the world these kind of really cool entities. So that's kind of how that series stemmed. Was I already loved the concept of the 9 realms and of course the gods and all the other creatures, but I really wanted to debut something that was a little more obscure.
I like it. I'm excited to read both of your books. Did you have any creative inspiration hit you during the pandemic? How did that affect your writing?
Moving away from painting and focusing more on my writing, since I was at the house a lot. I guess you could say that I was able to focus a lot more and produce a lot more content. And I also gave me that year to come out with a big plan for the next, where I was working a lot on learning how to do better, market better, advertise better. I was prepping the series over the years so that I could do this next 3 years worth of releases, and moving from a person where I released a book to 2 a year. Currently, my goal at the end of the year has been to release something every other month. So that's been a big, I know, a big feat. I've been achieving it thus far. We will see if I end on the high note. And again, for the next 2 other years, I think that's the goal as well. So it's been a big push to set this in motion. And now that it's rolling, it's just, I'm sprinting to keep up, but so far, so good.
Get it. That is an awesome goal. And I am super proud of you for getting it, because that is intimidating. Like, to do that.
Thankfully, are novellas, so they aren't as long as my full lengths. My full lengths are meaty, so that's why I've been able to put out a lot of novellas and a full length here and there, because it kind of spaces that out a little bit.
That's still a lot of writing.
Yes.
So do you have a specific editor that you use for your books, or do you use more than one editor?
Up until this point, I have used one editor, and I love her to death, but was recently informed that she's gonna take a pause for a little year or so. So now I'm in that, like, where do I go from here? So I am kind of looking around at other editors, because I'm a person that does like being grammatically correct and spell check, all those are very important. And so I for someone to help fill the gap for the time being, because I do want to release quality work.
Yes.
Sorry, I think I lost you there for a second.
You're good. You sketched out for a minute, but it got most of your wording. So do you have anything special you'd like to tell our viewers today before we end?
Well, if you are interested in my work, you can find me on my website. That's KatharineWibellBooks.com, and I'll spell that out for you, because my name is a little fun. Katharine, spelled Katharine, like Katharine Hepburn. Wibell is my last name. It's Swedish, so Wibell. And of course, books.com, all one word. That's my website. Check it out. See all my novels that I have and novellas I have currently. And I guess that's really all I have, unless you have any other questions for me.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being on here today, you guys. I'm going to have the links to all of her stuff with this video. It'll be underneath at the bottom. And thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for letting me come and chat.
No problem.